Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So firstly, I know I look a little bit crazy right now, but that is because today I'm doing a review on the Kylie Cosmetics Take Me on Vacation eyeshadow palette. I already went ahead and did my brows, my foundation, and my bronzer because I really want to focus this video specifically on this palette itself. So as of now, I have not tried this palette yet. I have not swatched it, but I do know what the palette looks like. I obviously had to open it up. And to be honest with you, I haven't really planned out what look I want to do with this yet, but I know that I really want to focus it around, there's a yellow shade in this palette, and I've been on the hunt for a good yellow eyeshadow, so I'm praying that this one works for me. So I really want to give that color a go. And there's also that really pretty blue color that everyone's obsessed with in this palette. I believe it's called Island Girl. So before we get into this review, if you guys like me and you like my channel, then please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I would love to have you guys here. So if you guys want to see the look that I create with this palette and my review, then please keep watching. So firstly, I'm obviously going to talk about the packaging, and I am obsessed with packaging. That is always what draws me into a palette, a product, etc., especially like this KKW. I did the review on this and I was raving on about the packaging, but I think I like this one more. I know that a lot of people have mixed opinions on the whole camo thing, but I think that this is so cute. So size-wise, this is definitely a lot bigger than the other palette I have from her. The only other eyeshadow palette I have from Kylie Cosmetics is the bronze palette, and I can actually pull that out to show you guys a size comparison. So this is a bronze palette, which if you have, you know, is a lot smaller in person, and this is the Take Me on Vacation palette, and the size difference is pretty crazy. This is definitely like a true palette in my opinion, but I love the size of this one because I think it's great for traveling. But this one definitely reminds me of the size of more of like the Modern Renaissance palette, and definitely the thickness as well. So anyway, let's take it out of the box so I can show you guys the actual packaging and not just the outer layer. Now this packaging I'm genuinely obsessed with. I don't think there's anything that she could have possibly changed to make this look better. Like the font is so cute, the color, the nude color, and the embossed gold foil letters. I think it's just so pretty. And I don't know if you guys have felt, if you have this palette, you've obviously felt it. And when I first got this, I don't know why I'm so strange like this, but I was just like sitting there like petting it, because something about the paper and like the cardboard that they put on this packaging is just so smooth and so soft. And this palette, like, this is pretty heavy. Like, this is a nice, sturdy, it feels expensive, it doesn't feel cheap whatsoever. And then on the back here, it just says Kylie Jenner Pressed Powder Eyeshadow, and it has all of the colors on the back. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the palette itself. Obviously, it has this little plastic cover right here. And the mirror on this thing, I'm gonna go ahead and cover it so I don't blind you guys, but the mirror in this thing is so nice. This is my first Kylie palette that actually has a mirror in it. My other Kylie palette, I only have the bronze one, didn't have a mirror, and that was definitely one of the biggest points of criticism that she was getting on her palette, which really didn't bother me. But I do see why some people kind of wanted a mirror in the palette. It is a little bit more convenient to have a mirror in the palette, especially when it's something that you could travel with. So the thing that initially attracted me to this palette was that I felt like I don't really have a palette in my collection with this range of shades. I feel like I'm definitely more attracted to the warm tones and like the very neutral tones, and I feel like this gives you a pretty wide selection in my personal opinion. I think the palette is majority cool toned, but you also have like the few warm shades like these and this one right here. And I would definitely say this is more of a daytime palette because you don't really have like those intense smoky shades other than these two right here. But overall, I think this palette is pretty versatile. Other than it not having a black, I feel like you could create multiple looks with this palette. And then down here, we actually get this brush. I'm kind of iffy on the brush situation. I've never tried a Kylie Jenner brush before, and I'm not too sure how it's going to work out, but the brush itself is definitely very cute. It has the nude with the gold Kylie Jenner on it, and then it has a more fluffy crease side, and then it has a more densely packed side also that you could use for your crease and like your outer V, or maybe even smoking out your lower lash line. So before I start throwing color names at you, I'm just gonna go ahead and read the shadows for you, and I'll just go ahead and point at the ones that I'm saying. So from the first row, we have First Class, Summer 17, Pina Colada, Starfish, Island Girl, Sail Away, Aloha, and Palm Tree. And then down here we have Sea Breeze, Coconut, Paradise, On the Rocks, Sunset, Spray Tan, Luxury, and Surfboard. So all the shade names are definitely super cute in my opinion, definitely go along with like the summer vacation theme, which I think was a super cute idea. In every single eye look that I do, I prime my eyelids with my YSL Couture Eye Primer, so I'm going to do that with this palette as well, just so I can give you guys my true and honest opinions on the shades. But I guess it would make the most sense to go ahead and try the brush that comes in the palette, just to give you guys my thoughts on that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this shade right here. Like I said, I always go for these warm brown shades. I believe this one is called Spray Tan. And I'm just going to put my brush in there and tap off the excess. And I'm going to take this shade into my crease. Oh, and I guess we might as well use the mirror too, right? What I think I'm going to do and would make the most sense for me is I'm going to blend with her brush on this eye in my crease. And then I'm going to take my favorite blending brush for the crease. This is the Morphe E23. And I'll do that on my left side. That way, in case like the brush is kind of hindering how I'm blending the shadow, then we'll know that it's not the shadow itself, it's the brush or it's the shadow, like, you know. So we'll get a true opinion on it better that way. But so far, I feel like these shadows are definitely blending very nicely. I've definitely loved Kylie's mattes since the bronze palette, and I think that her shadows are great, but I've never really tried her shimmery shades. So like I said, I'm going to go back in with my Morphe E23 in that shade Spray Tan. I'm just going to tap off the excess and apply this to my crease as well. Definitely a lot easier to blend with this brush. I might be a little bit biased because I love this brush so much, but I definitely think that it was a lot more seamless right off the bat just to blend with my Morphe brush. Okay, so next to darken up the crease, I'm going to go back in with that Kylie brush, and I'm going to take this shade right here. It's called Palm Tree, and I'm just going to put this into my crease as well, packing it a little bit lower and also bringing it to my outer V. Honestly, I didn't think I was going to like this side of the brush that much because it's so densely packed, like it's not flimsy whatsoever, but it's doing a really good job at blending out this darker shade. And then on the other side, I'm going to go in with my Morphe M433 and I'm going to use that same shade. So brush-wise, I do think that this one was a little bit more rough and kind of scratchy on my eye. The M433 is a little bit scratchy as well, but I would say that the bristles were definitely a little bit less sharp. But blending wise, both of them did the job. I might say that this one blended out a little bit better, but regardless, I definitely think it's still a good brush and there's nothing wrong with it, but I just love my Morphe brushes. So I'm actually going to go back in with my Morphe E23 and I'm going to add in this shade right here. It's called Coconut. And this is definitely more of a cool tone shade, and I'm just going to kind of layer this or try. I don't know if this is going to turn out okay, but I'm just going to layer this right over those shades that I put down. So it definitely was not necessary for me to layer that many shades, but I definitely just want to see like what happens. I just want to get as many shades in as I possibly can and just keep testing out all of them. So I'm going to go back in with this dark brown and darken the outer part of my V again. By the way, I did get a little bit of fallout underneath on my face, but nothing too crazy, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so I think I want to do more of like a half cut crease, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut my crease off camera because again, I want this to be super focused on the shades in this palette, so I'll be right back. Okay, so now that my crease is cut, I'm literally going to cross my fingers and go into this yellow shade. It is called Pina Colada, which is such a cute name, by the way. And I'm going to go in with my Sephora flat concealer, I think it's a concealer brush, honestly. Yeah, concealer brush, and I'm going to pack this all over my lid. By the way, I cut my crease with the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, and I set it with Laura Mercier powder. Okay, so when I first set it down, the payoff was definitely there, but now that I'm trying to layer it, I feel like it's starting to get a little bit more faint. Let me try and go in with my finger and see. Payoff is definitely way better with my finger, but I'm not the biggest fan of applying shadow with my finger because I have long nails. So the yellow definitely needed some tender love and care, but she's there and I see her, and that's probably the best yellow that I now have in my collection. So I'm not complaining. I am seeing a little bit, I think a lot of it actually, of fallout. I'm gonna go ahead and set my under eyes. So if I just set it with some translucent powder, then it'll pick up all of the fallout from the eyeshadow. It's also because I'm not really tapping off the brush like I probably should because I'm trying to pack on the pigment so heavily. So I'm thinking this one will look pretty on the outer V. So I'm just gonna kind of take, actually I think I'm gonna go in with Kylie's brush again. And I'm gonna take that stiff side, I'm gonna put that onto my outer V. So to be honest with you, I honestly think it looks pretty good so far. I think all of them blend pretty nicely, and I think that the pigmentation is definitely there so far with the shades that I've used. The yellow I think could be a little bit more pigmented and easier to build, but yellows again are, I think, a pretty hard shade to make. So that's not too big of a deal for me. I think I'm gonna go in with this one on my brow bone in my inner corner. It's called Summer 17. And I'm gonna be fair and spray my brush with some Mario Badescu spray because that's what I usually do with any shimmery shades. So I don't wanna treat this one any differently. So I'm just gonna go in and highlight with this. The matte shades are definitely pretty impressive, but these shimmers could definitely use some work. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply some lashes, and then we'll go ahead and move on to the bottom lash line. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually really obsessed with this eyeshadow look. I think that the yellow with the cool brown and like the warm peeking through the top, I just think it looks so pretty, especially with these lashes. These are the Huda Beauty Samantha lashes. So this might break the look completely because I love the way it looks right now. But I absolutely have to try this blue shade right here called Island Girl. I have to try this and see if it looks okay or if it's pigmented. I'm gonna swatch it for you guys. I really digged into it, and that's it right there. On the finger it looks pretty pigmented, and then, oh wow, it's actually really pretty. I see where people are saying that it could be a little bit more pigmented. Honestly, I think it's pretty pigmented, but it has these really pretty like goldish green undertone reflect to it. It's so pretty. I love this color. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my Sigma E15 flat definer. I'm going to spray it because I always spray my brushes when I'm using shimmer. And I'm going to tuck this underneath my lower lash line. So I can definitely see where people are saying the color payoff isn't really there, and I'm not getting the color as intense as it was when I swatched it on my hand. It's definitely a lot more intense when you like drench your brush. I have to like keep spraying my brush repetitively. And just for fun to see how this would go on my waterline, I think someone else might have done this in a video, but it looked really good when they did it, so I'm just going to put this into my bottom waterline. Honestly, I think this might be one of my favorite eye looks that I've ever done. And I honestly had no idea what I was doing when I was going into this. I had no idea what look I was going to do, so I'm pretty shocked. So I'm just going to take some mascara and apply it to my bottom lashes. And for the last step of this look, I'm going to be going in with my exposed liquid lipstick from Kylie Cosmetics. So this is my completed result with the Take Me on Vacation palette from Kylie Cosmetics. and I'm just going to go ahead and give you guys my last overview and review on the palette. So this palette actually retails for $52, and I do actually think it is worth the price. I feel like you get a lot of shadows in this. It's a bigger palette. It has a very, very big mirror. It's very sturdy. It feels expensive. The packaging is beautiful. A few of the shades in here could use a little bit of work. However, the palette as a whole, I really did enjoy. But do I think that you could find these same shades in a different palette for cheaper? Yes, we do have to keep in mind that we are paying for the name as well as the product. It is Kylie Cosmetics, as would be the same with Kim Kardashian's new line. You're not only paying for the product itself, you're paying for the name. So it's really just up to you on what you're comfortable with spending and if you think you'll get use out of the palette. It's totally your choice. The palette is sold out right now, but I'm sure it will be getting re-released. And if any of you guys have the palette already, I would love to see some of the looks that you guys create with it. So definitely send them to me or tweet them to me, snap them to me. All of my social medias are linked down below. Again, if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also, if you want, you can hit that notification bell down below to be notified when I upload a new video. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and I hope to see you guys next time.